I should.
Oh, last thing. This is not for the Tesla Coil, this is more for me. This has nothing to do with Elon Musk. So don't come up to me and ask me about him, please. I promise you, I have no answers for you. So, with that, now we can go with this thing. Okay, so, the Tesla Coil, invented by Nikola Tesla. Way back when. I'm not going to give a huge, long, detailed story about his life, but he was an incredible inventor who died without the love and adulation that he truly deserved. He sold a bunch of his patents off, and he also lived in the shadow of Edison for most of his life. But he did leave us with some absolute gems that we use to this day. Look above your heads right now. You see the lights on above us? Some of them need to be changed, I'm just noticing. But you see these lights above our heads? These lights, the energy is being generated through an alternating current, or an AC current, right? Now, where did that come from? Nikola Tesla put that on display in the 1896 World's Fair in Chicago, and it blew the socks off of everybody in there, because they were like, we don't have to run direct currents to everything anymore. This is great. So they use that to this day, and there's multiple things that we use from his to this day, but this device right here got rid of the idea of plugging in all of our devices. This device is supposed to generate an electric field that emits in all directions, and any bulb that's out there gets turned on. Now, I can talk about this all day, but we're going to turn it on right now. Tristan's about to turn this on for you guys. He's about to give you quite a bit of energy. This thing's about to generate 500,000 volts of electricity, so you guys got to give him a little energy as well, okay? So let's go. You ready? We're going to count down from 5, 4,
3, 2, 1. Happy New Year.
Give a round of applause, y'all. There's a couple elephants in the room with this thing, right? So you saw the violet, purplish colors coming off the electricity. Doesn't that look like the lightning you see in a thunderstorm or something like that? Well, that is exactly the same idea here. The nitrogen in our atmosphere is getting ionized. So we're basically cooking up the ion, the nitrogen gases in our atmosphere, and it's starting to glow. Glow is violet color that you see right, like any thunderstorm or anything like that. So you see? Taylor's going to help us out with the next one, but before he turns it on, I'm going to give you a brief history of this Tesla coil so that the next one you get is going to be the actual one that you want to record. So, the history of this thing is pretty great. It's like the most LA story I've ever heard. Basically this, before it was here, it was at a dental office. I don't know what they were doing at that dental office. Congratulations, okay. And prior to that, this thing is our slice of Hollywood, everybody. This guy, you might have heard of this mad scientist. He put this guy's body together, and he threw a switch, and the electricity came in, and the body got reanimated. This is Dr. Frankenstein's Tesla coil. So, what he did was, or what they did to make this movie magic, is that they recorded the Tesla coil going off, and then they reversed that, they played it in slow motion backwards. So all that electric arcs that you see is from this Tesla coil, but they're just moving in reverse as they're arcing out. And these things can arc, because it's in this room, it's contained to these arcs that you see here. But if this wall wasn't here, they could arc at least 20 feet away from it. So they did pretty big. Now, all right, here we go in 3, 2, 1. He's alive, he's alive. Now, give him a round of applause real quick. So, how does this thing work? What's called the inverse square law. The inverse square law basically, the closer you get to this thing, the more effective it is. The further away you get from it, the less effective it becomes. So, Nikola Tesla wanted this thing to be 200 feet tall from everybody's block. From everybody's block, it's a great idea on paper. On paper, right? Because imagine if you just came home from a long day of working at the bed or something like that, you just really wanted to relax, you had the boss out in there, and it is just time for you to binge watch some TV. The next thing you hear outside your window, it's not going to be a fun TV watching experience, right? So, you got that on the back of your mind. And then on top of that, like I said, this 20 feet arcs that this thing can hit. Could you imagine a 200-foot tall version of this thing arcing electricity above your head? Well, Nikola Tesla's colleagues have the same kind of mindset that we do right now. And they said, yeah, we don't want to deal with this thing, buddy. I'm sorry, it's a great idea, but because it seems pretty dangerous to be around. He wanted everyone to know that it was not inherently dangerous to be around as long as you had something to ground the electricity. If you can ground the electricity, you have nothing to worry about. So he sat in a room and he read a full newspaper, and he turned on a Tesla coil while he did it. But he had 2 poles in the room to ground the electricity. It is pictured here on this panel over here. He did not get hurt, but his colleagues still said you were good, because having this on around him caused him to generate his own glow from the latent energy around him from the electricity. So they're like, yeah, it's all right. We're not gonna do it, but thank you, man. But they didn't stop there though. Today we use this device, but in a way that we're not really used to kind of seeing it set up. So have you ever taken your phone out and placed it in a Tesla and it just starts charging, or you place it on your iPhone chargers or whatever without any wires attached? This is the basis of wireless charging. So you're seeing the beginning of how we can just turn these things into super charged phones without having to touch a single wire. So with that, I'll tell you a little bit more about this after we turn it on. Lily's going to turn this on for us. You ready? 8 seconds. 3, 2, 1. Alright, good job. Now, when you guys were looking at that Tesla coil sign over there, did you notice that it was blinking a lot, right? That's because there's no wires attached to that Tesla coil sign at all. In fact, I'm very happy that sign is there. Because back in the day, we did not have this Faraday cage here to keep all of that stuff locked in there. They used to have museum guys get close with the light bulb, and the fluorescent light bulb, the light bulb would turn on, you get away. My voice, I'm not too happy. I would not have been too happy to do that for you. So, we now have the Tesla coil sign there to show what the inverse square law looks like. And it's sitting right in front of it, so even though it's that close, the air is the conduit for the electricity. There is nothing connecting that electricity except for the air, so you get blinking, you get lapses in it. 3, 2, 1. Great job. Now, I like to kind of turn this into, I like to imagine how can I level this with the observatory. You know? It seems like a prop that we got here, or what's the deal? So this has a limit to what it can actually take on, right? It can only hit 500,000 volts. That's because you see the gap plate back there. That spark gauge that's set up there, like that is the max amount of energy that this thing can generate. And I kind of try to think about what in space has something similar to this. And I think of black holes. Black holes can only take on so much. They're not infinite vacuum cleaners that just take any and everything that comes around them. There is a limit. And if they exceed that limit, then they burn that energy off in jets. Polar jets on the side. This can only hit 500,000 volts of electricity. Anything higher than that is expelled through the nodes up there on either side. So you can treat those as the poles of the black hole. Anything further than what the black hole can take off, spewed off in these relativistic jets. Anything more than this, spewed off in those electric arcs up there. Not the same kind of energy level, but the concept is the same, right? So that's kind of how I like to tie it all. Just make this one organism of a building. But with that being said, thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to turn it on maybe 1, 2 more times. But would you like to press the button? Come on up. And 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Good job, buddy. Give a round of applause. Okay. So, if you guys have any questions about what to do with the building or anything like that, this is my happy place for sure. You guys can come ask me. There's some cool constellation on the ceiling up here. Unfortunately, there's an event going on, so the building's kind of limited in our access right now. But there's 3 floors here, so this is the tip of the iceberg. There's 2 more below us. If you feel like you need, like, want a tour guide or something like that, just grab one of the passports. Those passports can kind of help you as you work your way through the building. You can be like, okay, I'm on the space level. There's media right here. Where is that? And you go up to the desk, hey, show me the rock thing. And they're going to bring it out for you. So all that is a great way to stay engaged with the building. But keep looking up and have a great day, everybody. Peace and love.